Every day you open your banking app and see a number that makes you feel calm. That feeling is the trap, because your money does not have to disappear for you to be robbed. It only has to lose power, slowly, silently, respectably. No broken glass, no masked thief, no emergency alert. Just a clean interface, a stable balance, and a future that keeps getting more expensive. That is the kind of theft most people never learn to see, and that is exactly what Satoshi saw. Not just a problem with payments, not just a flaw in banking, not just a technical weakness, a deeper disease. A world where people thought they owned money when in reality they only held a fragile claim inside a system built on trust, mediation, dilution, and permission. And if that sounds dramatic, good, because the real story is more dangerous than the headline. Satoshi Nakamoto wrote, "Commerce on the internet has come to rely almost exclusively on financial institutions serving as trusted third parties to process electronic payments." That sentence sounds calm. It is not calm. It is an indictment. Because trusted third parties do not just help transactions. They sit in the middle of your life. They price access. They delay movement. They watch behavior. They profit from confusion. And while you are being told your money is safe, your purchasing power is being bled in the background. That is the warning. Your bank account may be stable. Your life is not. Your balance may look the same next month. Your rent will not. Your food will not. Your insurance will not. Your future will not. So this video is not about hype. It is not about Bitcoin cults. It is not about telling you to panic. It is about teaching you to see the theft that looks like normal life. Because once you see it, you stop asking whether your money is safe. You start asking who is eating it. And the ugliest part is this: inflation is only the first layer. To understand the theft, you have to understand why banks feel morally untouchable. Banks were never sold to you as a risky compromise. They were sold to you as adulthood. A bank account meant responsibility. A bank account meant structure. A bank account meant you were doing life correctly. You work, you save, you deposit, you behave. That is the script. And the script feels so normal that almost nobody stops to ask what the system is actually doing in return. Because yes, banks solve real problems. They store value better than a mattress. They move money faster than paper. They connect modern life. But utility is not innocence. Just because a system is useful does not mean it is aligned with your long-term freedom. That is where most people get trapped. You think ownership and access are the same thing? They are not. You think convenience and sovereignty are the same thing? They are not. You think seeing your name on an account means you are fully in control? You are not. If your money can be diluted faster than it grows, you are not in full control. If your movement depends on institutional permission, you are not sovereign. If your future depends entirely on rules set by people you did not elect, design, or audit, you are not independent. You are dependent inside a system that trained you to call dependency normal. That is why Satoshi's language matters. He did not describe the existing model as evil. He described it as weak. And weakness is more dangerous than evil because weakness can survive for decades without looking like a scandal. A weak system does not need to collapse to steal from you. It only needs to leak. A little value here, a little freedom there, a little trust tax everywhere. And over time, your whole financial life starts orbiting around institutions that profit from staying in the middle. That is why the white paper was not just a technology paper. It was a rebellion against intermediation. And if you think the biggest cost of intermediation is fees, it gets darker from here. Because the second layer is not access, it is time. This is where the trap compounds, not once, repeatedly, not loudly, mathematically. The first layer is inflation, simple, brutal, relentless. Prices rise, your life costs more. And if your money grows slower than the cost of living, you are going backward in real terms while thinking you are standing still. That is not saving. That is silent surrender. You can do everything you were taught to do and still lose. You can be disciplined and still be drained. You can avoid visible risk and still be destroyed by invisible risk. That is why this system is so psychologically effective. It lets you feel responsible while it makes you poor. Then comes layer 2, fees, overdraft fees, NSF fees, transfer fees, penalty structures, tiny punishments built into ordinary behavior. The amounts often look small. That is the trick. A system does not need to hit you with one huge wound if it can normalize 1,000 smaller cuts. And the people who pay the heaviest price are usually the people with the least margin for error. That is not just inefficient, that is predatory. Then comes layer 3, time, the hidden tax no one talks about enough. Because once your money is inside a low-yield, inflation-exposed, fee-sensitive system, you are not just losing value. You are losing years. Years you could have spent compounding. Years you could have spent learning. Years you could have spent escaping. Instead, you are managing decay and calling it prudence. This is why people feel tired. Not because they are weak, because they are obeying a map that was never designed to make them free. And Satoshi's genius was not merely building Bitcoin, it was exposing the map. He showed that maybe the problem is not your effort. Maybe the problem is that your money is parked inside a system that quietly punishes patience. And if that sounds extreme, stay with the logic, because inflation is not the darkest part. The darkest part is what inflation hides. So what exactly is being hidden? 4 things, and most people see none of them. Trap 1, the nominal illusion. You see a number in your account and your brain interprets that number as stability. $10,000, still there, still whole, still yours. But numbers can stay still while life moves against you. A balance can look stable while your future shrinks. That is the lie. The number comforts you. Reality empties you. Trap 2, the permission trap. Traditional banking makes you feel like the owner while training you to live like a requester. Move this, approve that, wait here, explain this, pay that fee, accept those terms. Again, this is not paranoia. This is architecture. Satoshi was attacking a world where money required a referee in the middle, a world where trust had to be outsourced, a world where finality had to be granted, a world where your financial life was only as free as the system allowed it to be. Trap 3, the fee harvest trap. Whenever a system earns money from your confusion becomes economically useful to that system. That should bother you a lot, because then complexity is no longer a bug, it becomes a business model. Small error, small fee, wrong timing, small fee, shortfall, small fee. That is how extraction hides, not as violence, as policy. Trap 4, the debasement trap. This is the deepest layer of all. Even if your bank is polite, even if the app is beautiful, even if customer service is excellent, you are still measuring your life in a unit that can be diluted. That changes everything. Because the question is no longer, do I trust my bank? The real question is this money designed to protect the saver? That is the question most people avoid because once they ask it honestly, their entire definition of safety begins to crack. And when that crack opens, you are finally ready for the part most people misunderstand. Bitcoin is not only an investment thesis, it is a warning shot. So how do you respond without becoming ideological, reckless, or stupid? You start with rules, cold rules, useful rules, operator rules. Rule 1, cash can protect your week. It cannot protect your decade. Emergency liquidity matters, but long-term wealth cannot survive on a strategy built entirely around idle bank cash. Rule 2, stop measuring wealth only in nominal dollars. A number is not wealth. Purchasing power is wealth. If your balance looks safe but buys less life every year, you are not winning. You are decaying politely. Rule 3, study money itself. Most people study budgets. Almost nobody studies monetary design. That is why they spend years optimizing behavior inside a system they do not understand. Satoshi did not change the world by learning to clip coupons. He studied trust, finality, verification, scarcity, incentives. He studied the machine. Rule 4, respect scarcity. Scarcity is not a marketing slogan. It is a monetary weapon. Money behaves differently when new units cannot be created on command. And once you understand that, you start looking at inflationary systems with very different eyes. Rule 5. Reduce unnecessary counterparty dependence. Anytime your future depends entirely on someone else's permission, policy, timing, or solvency, you are carrying fragility whether you admit it or not. Rule 6. Do not confuse visible volatility with invisible destruction. Bitcoin moves violently. That scares people. But a silent erosion of purchasing power is also violence. It is just normalized violence. Rule 7. Build optionality. The goal is not tribal identity. The goal is leverage. The more you understand self-custody, monetary history, hard assets, and sovereign alternatives, the less trapped you become inside one single financial story. That is power. And this is where the average viewer makes a mistake. They think the Satoshi Warning means abandon all banks immediately. No, that is too simplistic. The real lesson is more sophisticated than that, and more uncomfortable. Because the next question is not whether banks are useful. The next question is whether usefulness can still hide a fatal dependency. Here is the paradox. Banks feel safer than Bitcoin. For daily life, in many ways, they are. Your paycheck lands there. Your bills run through there. Your life still touches that infrastructure. So the intelligent argument is not that banks do nothing. The intelligent argument is that usefulness and long-term protection are not the same thing. That distinction matters a lot. Bitcoin feels dangerous because it moves, because it is unfamiliar, because it demands thought. Banking feels safe because it is familiar, because it is frictionless, because it asks for obedience, not understanding. That is why most people fear the wrong thing. They fear volatility they can see and ignore erosion they cannot. They fear the asset that shouts and trust the system that whispers. But Satoshi built for the people who learn to distrust the whisper. That is why Bitcoin matters even before price. It matters because it forces a confrontation. What is money? Who issues it? Who benefits from dilution? Who pays for the delay? Who profits from the middleman? What exactly have you been calling safety all these years? And once those questions get into your head, the old world starts looking different. Suddenly, your bank account does not look like pure protection. It looks like a compromise, a useful compromise, sometimes a necessary compromise, but still a compromise. That is the part people resist. Because once you admit it is a compromise, you can no longer pretend it is a complete answer. And that is why Bitcoin, at its deepest level, is not merely an asset. It is an accusation against dilution, against blind trust, against comfortable dependency. And if you think that sounds radical, wait until you hear the final conclusion. Because the scariest part of the Satoshi Warning is not about banks, it is about you. So here are the 8 iron rules of the Satoshi Warning. 1. If your money grows slower than the cost of life, you are losing, even if your balance looks stable. 2. A bank account can preserve a number while failing to preserve your future. 3. Trusted intermediaries solve real problems, but they also impose real costs, dependencies, and hidden risks. 4. The system punishes confusion hardest when the confused are weakest. 5. Convenience is useful. Convenience is not sovereignty. 6. If you never study money, you will spend your life inside other people's monetary decisions. 7. Bitcoin matters first as a warning, and only then as an alternative. 8. The most dangerous theft is the kind that looks normal. That is the final conclusion. The Satoshi Warning is not just about central banks, not just about inflation, not just about overdraft fees, not just about Bitcoin. It is about what happens when you confuse access with ownership, stability with safety, and familiarity with truth. That is why this matters, because the system does not need to destroy you dramatically. It only needs to keep you comfortable while your purchasing power erodes, your dependency deepens, and your options quietly disappear. That is how people lose 10 years, not in one catastrophe, in one calm compromise after another. So if you stayed with me until this point, you already know this video was never just about Bitcoin. It was about seeing the machine. And once you see the machine, you have a choice. go back to sleep, or start protecting your future with open eyes. If this video changed the way you look at your bank account, comment Satoshi Warning below. Subscribe to Million Dollar Operator for weekly documentaries on wealth, money, power, and the hidden rules designed to keep ordinary people financially weak. And send this video to someone who still thinks a bank balance automatically means financial safety. Because once you see the theft, you are no longer innocent. You are responsible. This was Bitcoin. Your bank is stealing from you every day. The Satoshi Warning.